In this lecture, I want to go over long division. So let's say we have a problem, 484 divided by 4. The first thing we want to do is ask ourselves, how many times can 4 go into 4? In other words, 4 times what is 4? And if you guessed it, it's going to be 1. So you're going to put a 1 here. Now we say 4 times 1 is going to be 4. So you put a 4 here. And we're going to subtract the difference. 4 minus 4 is going to be 0. In our next digit, 8, we're going to bring that straight down. So now we have 8 divided by 4 is what? Or in other words, 4 times what gives you 8? And if you guessed 2, you are correct. So we agreed that 4 times 2 gives us 8. We're going to add an 8 here. Subtract the difference, get 0. So the next thing we do is bring down our other digit, 4. And we say 4 goes into 4 how many times? That's right, it's going to be 1. And so 4 times 1 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. And therefore our answer is going to be 121. In this example, we have 693 divided by 3. So the first thing we want to do is say, how many times can 3 go into 6? In other words, 3 times what would give you 6? And if you guess 2, you are correct. So 3 times 2 gives us 6. I'm going to put a 6 here, and we're going to subtract the difference, which is 0. Now I'm going to bring the 9 straight down. And we have 9 divided by 3. In other words, 3 times what will give you 9? And so if you remember your multiples of 3, 3 times 3 is 9. So now we say 3 times 3 gives us 9. I'm going to write a 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. And we bring down our other 3. So now the question is, 3 divided by 3 is what? In other words, 3 times what number would give you 3? And if you guess 1, you are correct. So now we say 1 times 3 gives us 3. 3 minus 3 is going to be 0. And therefore our answer is going to be 231. In this example, we have 369 divided by 9. Pause, take a break, see if you can figure this one out. Alrighty, in case you guessed it, the first thing we want to do is ask ourselves, how many times can 9 go into 3? And because 3 is smaller than 9, it can't go in any times. So now we have to ask ourselves, how many times can 9 go into 36? And if you recall from your 9's times tables, 9 times 4 is going to be 36. So now we say 9 and 4 is 36. I'm going to write 36 there. 36 minus 36 is going to be 0. And we're going to bring our 9 straight down. So now we have 9 divided by 9. Or in other words, 9 times what would give you 9? And if you guess 1, you are correct. So now we say 9 times 1 is going to be 9. And 9 minus 9 is going to be 0. And because there are no other digits to bring down, we can conclude that our answer is 41. Alrighty, in this example, we have 637 divided by 7. So the first thing we want to ask ourselves is how many times can 7 go into 6? And because 7 is bigger than 6, it doesn't go in any times. So now we have to ask ourselves how many times can 7 go into 63? And if you recall from your times tables, 7 times 9 is going to be 63. So I'm going to put a 9 here. So 7 times 9, we agreed is 63. 63 minus 63 is going to be 0. And we're going to bring the 7 straight down. So now we say 7 divided by 7 is what? Or in other words, 7 times what would be 7? And if you guess 1, you are correct. So we're going to put a 7 here. 7 minus 7 is 0. And if you notice, we don't have any other digits to bring down. Therefore, we can conclude that the answer is 91. In this example, we have 366 divided by 6. So the first thing we want to do is ask ourselves, how many times does 6 go into 3? 6 is bigger than 3, so it can't go in any time. So now we ask ourselves, how many times can 6 go into 36? And if you guess 6, you are correct, because 6 times 6 is going to give us 36. So 36 minus 36 is going to be 0. And now we bring our 6 straight down. And we have to divide 6 by 6. In other words, 6 times what would give you 6? And if you guess 1, you are correct. So we say 1 times 6 gives us 6. And 6 minus 6 is going to be 0. There are no other terms to bring down, so our answer is going to be 61. Alrighty, in this example, we have 864 divided by 8. So the first thing we want to do is ask ourselves, how many times can 8 go into 8? In other words, 8 times what is 8? And if you guess 1, you are correct. So now we say 8 times 1 is going to be 8. So I'll write an 8 right there. And 8 minus 8 is going to be 0. And now we have to bring down the 6. So 6 divided by 8 is going to be 0 because 6 is smaller than 8. And now we say 8 times 0 is going to be 0, so I put a 0 there. 6 minus 0 is going to be 6. And now it is time to bring down the 4. So we're going to put a 4 right there. So now it's 64 divided by 8. Or in other words, 8 times what would give you 64? And if you remember from your multiples of 8, 8 times 8 would give you 64. So 8 times 8, we put the 64 there. 64 minus 64 is 0. If you notice, there are no other digits to bring down. So our answer is going to be 108.